Okay, so this far into the retreat, you've probably all had experiences of what you call good days and bad days, right? And it's quite interesting to watch how the difference between a good day and a bad day externally is not usually so great, because we're doing the same schedule and the same things and the same time and eating the same thing and doing the same meditation and the same chores. And so what's happening outside isn't so great, but our mind can swing dramatically from one side to the other. Have you experienced that? Sometimes in the matter of minutes, sometimes it takes a few days, but this happens in retreat, and it happens in regular life too. It's just in regular life we usually distract ourselves from it and self-medicate and so on, so we don't notice it so much. So we tend to like the good days and not like the bad days, yeah? But that's just our discriminating mind making up more stuff, because sometimes what we call bad days are actually the best days for Dharma practice, because bad days can be when our mind is really acting up. Our mind is acting like this 2-year-old child that is just having a temper tantrum. Yeah? Anybody have this experience? Yeah? It's like, wait a minute, this is an adult body, but inside I am kicking and screaming and, and doing everything I did when I was 2 years old, or maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 70, it's a similar thing. And so we notice, certain kind of ways that we dig ourselves in holes, okay? So one of our temper tantrums might be, a revolt against authority, and it's like, I can't stand this! This person's bossing me around, this is doing this is doing that, it's all coming from outside, I reject it, I'm my own individual, get out of my way. Okay, so you might have that some days, right? Yeah? Oh, you all look so peaceful and sweet now. And then other days, you have another manifestation of, the temper tantrum mind, which is, I'm going to take my marbles and go home. Nobody loves me. They don't play with me. I just want to be nice. Right? And you want to find a nice little corner in the meditation hall where you can just sit and curl up in a ball and, Okay. So, we see in ourselves all these old patterns, and we play them out again and again. We're like, just push button, give me some situation and bam, this is how, I react. And even if there's no situation, I'll dream one up and I'll have my temper tantrum. Anyway, let's make life exciting. Have a temper tantrum, have our own little whatever it is. So these days, we're usually pretty miserable. Our mind is just in an uproar. We can't stand anybody in any way. They can't stand us. We're sure, and we're pretty miserable. So it's very interesting, those days, they can be very fruitful days, is look behind, all those thoughts, all this stuff that's going on, and saying, what's behind this? Yeah, what's behind this? What's causing this? And then you look to the teachings, okay? The Buddha usually pointed out 2 things that are behind these kind of mental states. Can you guess?
Attachment and aversion?
a little bit deeper even than that.
Self-grasping.
Self-grasping and self-centeredness. Okay, so those two, so in the Wheel of Sharp Weapons, those two are said to be the butchers because they butcher our happiness. Yeah, and so we have the self-grasping of, and you'll see when we're in those mental states, what is occupying our mind? Is there any love for anybody? Is there any compassion for anybody? All we can think about is me. Totally me. That's all that fills the mind. Yeah? So right away we can see the self-centered ignorant, the self-centeredness, making it all about me, you know. I'm the only thing that exists in this world. And I'm unhappy, and it shouldn't be like this, and on and on and on. And there you watch, and there, if you watch carefully, you will see why in the Lamrim prayers it talks about self-centeredness as, you know, being this demon-like thing, or this thief that steals away our happiness and drowns us in misery, because we can see so clearly on those quote, quote, bad days, how the self-centeredness works and how it makes us miserable and how it separates us from our genuine virtuous aspirations. Yeah? And how it makes us act in the exact opposite way of how we really want to be, because we really want to be kind and understanding and so on, and the self-centeredness completely makes us do the opposite. Okay, so when you see this on these bad days, then you're having such an acute awareness of a major cause of your misery throughout your entire life. So noticing that actually makes this a good day, because you're really seeing something very true and something that the Buddha taught, and Buddha knew what he was talking about, and that, you know, helps generate our faith and devotion in the Buddha, because we see that the teachings he said are completely right about this. Yeah, and then we really pinpoint, oh, this self-centeredness, instead of giving into it, I've got to do something about it. So what are the meditations that we do to work against self-centeredness? Meditating on the kindness of others, okay? Meditating on the defects of self-centeredness, going through our whole life and looking at all of our unhappiness and misery and seeing how every time self-centeredness was behind it. Yeah. And then also meditating on the benefits of cherishing others. Yeah? So if you really make these meditations very strong, the kindness of others, the defects of self-centeredness, the benefits of cherishing others, then those meditations act as the counterforce to this self-centered mind that is making you totally miserable. Okay? So then you start applying those counterforces in your meditation. Yeah? And you really work with it. And sometimes your self-centered mind throws another temper tantrum. You know, don't tell me the faults of self-centeredness. I've got to take care of myself, otherwise nobody will take care of me. And why should I think about the benefits of helping others? They don't do anything for me anyway except blame me and make me miserable. And so again, you come back and you look and okay, that mind that's resisting me applying the antidote and thinking, you know, doing this Lamrim meditation, that mind again completely caught up in me, I, my, and mine. Look again how much this one's making me unhappy. Yeah, I want to be happy. Yeah, let's drop this mind. Let's not follow it. Okay, so in that way you learn to work with your mind. Yeah, and then what you thought was a bad day actually becomes a good day. One, because you've noticed the cause of your misery. Two, because you're developing some practice in combating it and working against it. And every time you do that, you apply the counterforce again and again and again and again, all the way until we're Buddhas. Then, you know, this miserable self-centeredness gradually gets worn away and subdued. Okay? So next time I'll talk about the self-grasping, because it's the other demon. Okay? Yeah. I once went to give a talk at a high school, a public high school, and afterwards when one young man came up and said, "Do Buddhists believe in the devil?" You know, I could tell he was from an evangelical family. I said, "No, not an external devil. We think our own self-centeredness is what makes us miserable and harms us, not somebody external to us." He just kind of took it in. I don't think he had ever heard of that kind of perspective. Yeah. Okay.